Welcome back. So we start looking at the new AQA anthology poems for everyone who's doing the exam next year. So hopefully we'll try and get as many of these up as possible for then, and we'll also be looking at the poems from other boards. So even if this isn't from your board now, or hopefully some stuff from your board will come, and in the meantime hopefully just getting more and more used to Smile will be beneficial for you. So we start with Medusa by Caroline Duffy. Great poem. So the first thing we notice about the structure is the short sentences, and the short sentences obviously make things a little more powerful. So for example, I stared in the mirror, or a really short one, be terrified, and they're just kind of like punchy sentences, very short, and just kind of really make us stop and think about what the writer commands or actually tells us in the line, or what the character in this case does. We've got the questions towards the end, and that's just really interesting. It kind of shows that she's reflective just before she dies, because obviously with Medusa, in the myth, she had her head cut off, and actually I'm just going to move on to this one really quickly. That fragmented last line is actually this part here. It could represent her head cut off, and then she's off to the side. And then in a lot of kind of graphical image representations, or even in film versions, she dies with her eyes open, so she's still kind of got that look at me now. And obviously the snakes don't die, hence people, I think it's Perseus or whoever the Greek the Greek warrior was that cut her head off, he's still able to use it against another monster a little later on. It's a first person dramatic monologue, which is quite interesting for us because we get to hear everything firsthand, and we know what the character is feeling. Obviously that's represented by the repetition of I, etc. It's free verse, which it gives her a free reflection to actually say exactly how she's feeling, just talking through the things that she's actually thinking about, and all the things that are happening around her, and obviously in her mind as well. We've done the fragmented section, so we move on to the meanings. We've got the idea first and foremost of the beauty lost. So you've got that bride's breath sour, and obviously the bride should be something perfect and beautiful, and then you've got the oxymoronic contrast here with the breath soured and stank, and then it's just a really critical bunch of things on herself. And the background is that she was cursed by one of the goddesses, and she gave her the head of hair full of snakes, and that's what made her turn other people into stone. So obviously that's her beauty lost there, and you could probably pick that up from the last line as well of wasn't I beautiful. So again, it's remembering that. You've got the misplaced power, so she's got this power, and obviously she's using it quite she can't really do anything with it. She can't do anything positive with it anyway. So here obviously you've got her killing a bee, it turns into a pebble, and the cat turns into a brick, etc. So it's all quite depressing, derelict. She's lonely, her power's not, she doesn't mean to do this to people, she doesn't mean to do it in these instances anyway, and it kind of makes you feel sorry for her in some ways. You got the idea of beauty again, the idea again the bride mentioned earlier, staring in the mirror, and again that beautiful, the idea that there was a beauty there at one point. Jealousy, heartbroken. So basically we know the jealousy part because where the story actually comes from, but also here the idea we have it's you I love, perfect man, Greek god of my own, but I know you'll, etc, etc. So here the idea is that people that she that were around her, maybe she's just thinking about what she's lost out on when she's actually in this state. She hasn't got anyone around to love, so maybe she's jealous of the idea, or maybe she had a lover and now she obviously can't be with them or look at them anymore, and when she's in this kind of banished lonely state, and this loneliness is actually something that comes through here quite a lot. And also you've got the idea of change, so obviously she changed from someone beautiful into this, and obviously the things that she can change into stone, and obviously that's quite a lot of negative stuff, and you can take some of that things turned to stone to be representative of feelings turned to stone, heart turned to stone, etc. So moving on to images then. Stone. You've got all the images that are actually mentioned, all the things that she turns into stone and actually breaks, and it's quite powerful images. You've got the beauty again that's actually mentioned, so you see that quite clearly, and you've also got the danger. Now there's obviously the danger first of all psychologically, so she's got this the suspicion, doubt and jealousy. You've also got the danger and kind of the ugliness in physical representation in the snakes, and you've also got it in the danger that's actually coming to her, the shield for the heart and the sword for a tongue. And basically maybe that sword for a tongue is actually almost like a sexual reference as well. Maybe that's the closest she'll get to a kiss, in the way that because of the element that she has, turning everyone who looks at her into stone. And obviously the warrior who actually did conquer her came with a shield and made her look at herself, and that's what felled her her in the end. So we move on then to the language, and obviously we've got the alliteration of Greek god, which makes that more punchy for the reader, just makes it really stand out, makes us think about it. We've also got the unique phrasing of the, I picked that line out just because I do think it's quite strange. It's not something you normally hear, love gone bad, and that's kind of a short breakdown of, excuse me, that's a short breakdown of just a sentence you wouldn't normally expect to hear. So normally you'd say, the love died, or it wasn't true love, but just the love gone bad makes it sound like a yogurt. And then basically that kind of ties in with basically some of her powers to an extent. She just makes things go bad, and that's kind of tied in there that way. You've got the onomatopoeia with spattered just across here, so that's talking about the the singing bird that obviously combusted, and that just makes it again more powerful for the reader, and just gives the idea of spreading and nothingness, because it's not even like it comes down later when she talks about all the things that actually hold together. This one just kind of this almost like falls apart. We've also got the metaphor when we look up here about the bullet eyes, for example, sorry, the bullet tears example. Obviously that could be a metaphor, just kind of like how sad and lonely she is on her own, and or heartbroken she is, but it could also be like maybe her eyes actually do have kind of small arrow-like drops coming out. So it's an interesting double meaning to play on there. So what does this make us think about? Well, it makes us think about the effect of our actions. What can we do to people with our looks and with our kind of considerations, etc., etc. It could make you think about that. It could make us empathize with the people who are alone, or who are heartbroken, or maybe can't connect with the people that they actually want to connect with. And it also makes us think about what changes people, because here, in a way, when she comes to the end, just before she's about to die, she actually thinks about, she actually kind of gets regretful and everything. And I know it's kind of rhetorical on herself, and she's not very happy at that point, but everything that's gone before it is very, very negative and sad. And there, at least at the end, when she knows the end is coming, she's actually got this positive outlook just for a second. So maybe the idea of death for her was some kind of release, even though she's not dead, because she's got this breakaway where she gets to say, look at me now, almost like from beyond the grave, etc. But you can take that as far as you want. So that's Medusa, and we'll move on to some of the other poems.